The following program is for entertainment purposes only. Beyond all that is known and unknown, wait the doors of perception. We can open the way before us with the key of knowledge to find the answers to the questions that haunt us. But we must open our minds to perceive the existence of realities that can take us far beyond all that we may even imagine. We must therefore open ourselves to different viewpoints beyond what is considered the normal. Get ready to take the highway to high strangeness. This is Paranormal Point of View. Hello and good evening, ladies and gentlemen. All my friends out there in podcast land. This is Dennis Carroll. I am your host for Paranormal Point of View, episode 36. Absolutely interesting evening tonight. We're going to have a general discussion show. We're going to be just sitting like old friends sitting around at the table drinking coffee. I'll get you some coffee out and get you some popcorn, whatever you decide to do. We're going to have an interesting evening of discussion. We've got some very deep, dark rabbit holes to go down. We're going to be doing that. And want to welcome you all gathering in the chat room. Hello, Shiro, Asa, yes, and Demaria, Kyle Smith, Kathleen, and Wizard Moon, Philip. Hello, Philip. Let's see who else we got here. If I miss anybody, please forgive me, okay? The girl and her gong, of course, my good friend. Girl and her gong. By the way, I always think about you when I look at my howling wolf, okay? It sits here on my computer right here in front of me, okay? It's the guardian of my computer, all right? Hello, Crystal. Good to have you here. And let's see who else we got going here. Got Ida. Hello, Ida. Good to have you here. Got on my t-shirt tonight. Have you noticed that? It's the shirt for my group, by the way. I don't know if I've ever mentioned my group too much, but it is AIPRI, and it stands for the American Institute for Paranormal Research and Investigation. Any of you out there can join if you want to. It's free. Doesn't cost anything. Let me know if you want me to put you in, and I will put you in the American Institute for Paranormal Research and Investigation. That will make you a prestigious member of a very elite group of paranormal investigators, okay? And we were established back in 1978, by the way. Hello, Mary. Okay, Cosmic Joe, good to have you here, bud. All right, and checking, got something going off on the phone here. Let's see what we got. Got an interesting thing coming in here. Yeah, it's getting to be a kind of a crazy world out there, folks. Definitely, we got school shootings and all this going on. There's some weird stuff, but it's like I've told you before in the past. We've got some bad stuff coming down the line. Absolutely, this is just the beginning, as I think Jesus said in the Bible. This is just the beginning of sorrows. Absolutely. We're going to talk a little bit about that tonight. We're going to talk about some other stuff. I got a couple of movie reviews I want to share with you. And I did mention those on my show Wednesday night. I want to talk a little bit more about them tonight. These are two movies I completely recommend that you see. And you will be glad you did. I want you to check these two movies out that we're going to be talking about tonight. And hopefully, next week, I've got lined up my good friend BMR, Bigfoot Michigan Rob. He's going to be on the show talking about his new book. The second one, the volume 2 of Dogman Encounters that he's got coming out. We're going to be talking about that. Matter of fact, I have the book right here. Okay, there it is. Check it out. It is a fascinating book. There's some interesting things we and I are going to be discussing about that, so you don't want to miss that show. And of course, next week, my good friend Gerald Fountain and I will again be hosting The Road Less Traveled Monday night at 9 o'clock p.m. Eastern Standard Time. We're going to be talking paranormal architecture. Have you ever heard of that, huh? That's interesting, yeah. Paranormal architecture. Yeah. So you don't want to miss that. Where else can you hear about stuff like that, huh? Only on The Road Less Traveled, my friends. Absolutely. All right. Let's see what we got. I want to say, give a shout out to everybody and wink at me. Hello. And I'm glad you're all gathering in here. We're going to have an interesting general discussion tonight. That means this is your time to rise and shine, okay? I want to hear from you out there. I don't want to hear any crickets out there tonight, okay? I want to hear from you. I want some questions. I want your observations. If you got a story to tell, whatever, this is it. Go for it. You got a wide open mic, okay? And like I say, this is not just my podcast. It belongs to you too, okay? Absolutely. I wouldn't have it any other way, my friends, okay? No, sir. And I want to hear from you out there. If you got anything that's on your mind, anything you want to say, if you got a little rant, go ahead and rant. You know, this is your free forum for it, okay? And I want you to know that you always got a voice on this program, okay? You're not just a faceless entity out there in podcast land to me. You are somebody, you always have a voice here, okay? Especially if you join the American Institute for Paranormal Research and Investigation. I'm just kidding. But anyway, um, you've always got a voice. I'll see to that. You will have a voice before I have one. Put it that way, okay? Absolutely. These demons are starting to run wild now, Kyle says. Absolutely. They know their time's running out, Kyle. They know that without a doubt, their time is definitely, absolutely running out on them. Here's my new poster. How you like it? Mm-hmm. Gonna be going on the wall back here. Yep. But anyway, yeah, they know the time is running out. Absolutely, and I know it too. A lot of us know it, don't we? Yep. Have you heard of the special tree that's inside the Washington Monument? Now, I don't think I've heard anything about that. Tell us about that. The special tree, huh? They're putting, watch very closely the places you go to. They're putting satanic statues and things in a lot of places. There's a reason behind that. Okay, it's growing more and more in power. Okay, I'm gonna talk a little bit about witchcraft tonight, and I'm gonna talk to you about, you might have remember me mentioning to you, um, maybe a couple of shows back, to be very careful what's around your property. Okay, watch very closely and observe things and make sure there's nothing out of place that's not supposed to be there, or some kind of strange object that you find. If you do, contact me immediately. Okay, if you find something that's not right, on your property. Okay, I'm going to tell you why. Okay, listen very closely to what I'm going to tell you tonight. And I'm not trying to be a fear monger. Okay, but witchcraft is definitely on the rise. And like I have said before, they will pick out people. They will pick out people, especially people who are going more or standing more for the light and the positive things in this world. When you do that, you can expect some pushback. You got to understand that comes with the territory, okay? And be very wary, okay, because you might be a target on their list. So be very careful. And if anything like that occurs, at least get in some touch with somebody like me or somebody like me, okay, that you can talk to and find out what you need to do or ask questions, etc. You're gonna probably run into that. Absolutely. There's satanic symbolism and witch symbols on the food labels. They say it's on everything, girl or gone. It's in every aspect of our society. And I've said this before, and I've had other shows about this. Look at the symbols. The symbols are a secret language that they are using. Not just the vampire cults, but the satanic cults, the witch covens, and all this. They use symbolism as secret languages to communicate things or to cast hexes and spells. I'm going to be talking about that tonight. Some of that. Yeah, I'm interested to find out what that tree is. Is it some kind of a pagan thing or what? Let me know. Um, Symbolism will be their downfall. Yeah, well, they always slip up one way or another, girl. They're wrong. Absolutely, they're always going to do that. That's just the way that I think it's designed that way. Absolutely. But also, I want to let you know, I'm going to announce this again tonight too. I'm full of announcements tonight. Okay, I will be making a video for any of you that might be interested. I'm going to make a video. I'm going to try to do it this weekend. It will be posted on my channel. And like I said, this is your channel too. Okay, it will be posted on the channel. It's going to be my recipe and how you actually make holy water. Okay, I'm going to do a step by step video for you on this. Okay, so you might want to be watching for that. That's coming down the line for you. And that's not just for members, that's for everybody on here, okay? And you might want to view this and get this recipe that you need and how to do it, the step by step instructions and the blessing that goes with it. And you might want to definitely check it out, okay? I wear a hand forged iron bracelet. Does it help with negative enemies? Absolutely. They can't stand iron. They hate iron. They have the properties of iron. It's just like acid or poison to them in many aspects. They can't stand it. Silver is the same way, and silver and gold actually, but silver is that way as well. I have a silver bullet around here somewhere. I always have silver bullet close by. You never know. But did you know? I don't know if you know this or not, and this is just here's a little info for you. Okay, and remember this show is for entertainment purposes only. Okay. Um, You can buy silver shot. Now, what am I talking about here? Silver shot. That's the pellets that go in shotgun shells. You can load your own shotgun shell. You know that, right? I mean, it's not that hard to do. Okay. You can actually remove the shot in the shotgun shell and replace it with silver shot, and that is very, very virulent against evil. Okay, especially werewolves, vampires, and stuff like that. Thank you so much, Crystal, for that sticker, dear. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. And let me put that up there. I'm a little bit slow on the thing tonight. Hold on a minute. All right. Let me get this up here. Come on. It's slow, slow, slow tonight. There we go. Thank you so much, dear. I appreciate that. And I want to acknowledge that for you. There we go. Okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. This thing is very. I don't know why StreamYard's kind of slow tonight. How you like the new round camera? There? That looks neat. And we can also do it in a little bit higher resolution as well. So check that out when you get a chance. Okay. All right. Let me get back to where I was here. There we go. And absolutely, yeah, the silver shot. Think about that. That's interesting. I might have to get some of that myself. Greetings from South Carolina, Danny. How you doing, Danny? Good to have you here tonight. Freedom lover and Urso Super Sub. Okay, I just call him Urso. Okay. And yeah, we're just having an open journal discussion thing tonight, but we're talking about different things, whatever pops in the mind there. I am a British Columbia Canadian. Where is everyone else? Okay, freedom lover. Well, welcome aboard, British Columbia. I've always liked British Columbia. That's Bigfoot country. Absolutely. Yeah, that's interesting about the silver shot. Definitely, I did not know that existed, but I said I might have to try to get some of that and load my shotgun shells with that. Now I do have shotgun salt shells, but that's another thing. Have you heard of the sage wall? Danny says no. Let's tell us a little bit about the sage wall, there, Danny. Hand to me, and I'll load the shells for you. Oh, okay. I'll remember that, Kyle. Thank you. Wizard Moon's in West Virginia. Okay. I've been there several times. Yeah, West Virginia's a beautiful country. I have been seen in West Virginia on occasion. Freedom Letter, yeah, Bigfoot, lots of weird stuff going on here. That's what I hear. Absolutely. That's up towards the Nahana Valley, the Nahani Valley. So what's this about the sage wall, sir? You ask, oh, thank you. The sage wall may be an ancient monolithic wall from before the flood in Montana. Oh, that's interesting. We'll have to check that out. I'll Google it. Absolutely. You know me, I'm always into research on stuff like that. They actually found something out west, and I can't remember exactly where. I'm always I'm sort of an amateur archaeologist. I love archaeology, and they actually found. I think I mentioned this the other day. It might have been on Jessica's show. I don't know that they actually found an Egyptian symbol out west somewhere. They should not be there. They found this on a rock, a little large rock in a river, I think, or lake. Very old. I'd say werewolves never mess with a Lone Ranger. Absolutely. He had no problem with werewolves at all. That's what I hear. Research that as well. Yep, that sounds interesting. The Sage Wall, huh? That's interesting. But yeah, it's always good to have a silver bullet just in case. Roger Blair's in the house. Okay, Cosmic Joe. I like that name, Cosmic Joe. Hi, Silver. A Lone Ranger. You do know that he was the great great uncle of the Green Hornet, don't you? You know that, don't you? Oh yeah, that's true. He was, I think, like the great great uncle of the Green Hornet. When I was a kid, I was very big on comic books. Oh god, I devoured them. I had quite a collection at one time. I still have a few. So among my favorite comic books was The Mini Ghost of Dr. Graves. Great stuff. That was Charlton Comics, by the way. But I was big on the DC and the Marvel as well, and the horror comics, of course. I was a big comic fan. Absolutely. I was really big on comic books as a kid too. Huh? All right. Books and Mad Magazine. Oh yeah, Mad Magazine. I used to get those a lot. I love the parodies in Mad Magazine. They were great. Alfred E. Newman. What, me where? Yeah, some good stuff like that. But now, I was going to ask you all a question. Let me get ready to pull this up here because I want to show you a picture. It's show and tell time here. Okay. Uh, are you familiar? Some of you may be. Are you familiar with a witch's ladder? That's what this is that I'm showing you here. That is a witch's ladder. Are you familiar with that? You do not ever want to see one of these on your property or around your house. They use these in death curses. Take it from me, I've had a few good death curses put on me, and I know what I'm talking about here. That is a witch's ladder. And what it has is knots, and every knot is a hex and a spell and a very bad wish for you. And it is tied in a knot with a black chicken feather in each knot, and it has 9 knots in it. Some of them have 13 knots, and usually the one that has 13 knots is the one with a death curse attached to it. These will be found on your property if they're causing you some bad stuff. Yes, that's a witch's ladder. That's what that is. And you do not want to absolutely deal with that. Now, where else are you going to find out something like that except here, okay? That's the witch's ladder. And of course, uh, this is the sign of the werewolf. And the werewolf, of course, has the upside down pentagram. All right. I want to talk about the pentagram a moment. This is it right here, also called the pentacle. This is the star of good. You know, this is God's star right here. Okay. But when it's turned upside down, it is evil. It is the symbol of evil. But when it's turned upside down, the symbol of evil is the goat's head on that. Okay. But upside like that right there, the pinnacle is actually the star of God, the star of heaven. But it was stolen, of course, by satanic dark forces to use it the way they want to use it, which is usually for bad. But I just wanted to tell you that that's the occultic thing on that. Okay, that's the pinnacle and the story of the pinnacle and the witch's ladder and all that. And of course, now this witch's ladder, and if it's left on your property, especially if it's placed under your bed, can be some very bad magic on you. So if you ever find something like that, you definitely want to deal with it the correct way, and you need to find someone to help you with that. Okay, and who you gonna call? Right? You're quite welcome, Cal. How big is the witch's ladder? It can be. It's made. It's a string. Really, basically, it's a string or twine. Now, sometimes they are used. Hairs, horsetail hairs, actually, are used in it. Sometimes, most of the time, it's twine, and it can be ever how long. It's usually about maybe a foot and a half long. It depends on how many knots are in it. Okay. Like I said, it has standard knots of 9 and 13 mostly. And like I say, 9 would be something along the terms of something like a love spell or a bad luck spell. A death curse would be probably 13 knots. And like I say, each knot has a chicken feather in it. Now, if you can see witches' ladders, voodoo witches' ladders, you just substitute the feathers and add chicken bones. Okay, or they can both. It can be both chicken bones and feathers. Either way, I have seen it. I've actually went up to houses where voodoo practitioners live, and they will have stuff like that hanging on their porch. So if you ever see that, you know what you're dealing with. It's dark, usually black magic. A ladder is scary. I would not want to mess with. I've got one here, but it's just a. It's not an actual ladder. I wouldn't want one in my house. Okay, this is just put together. It doesn't have any spells or hexes or curses on it. Okay, it's just put together to illustrate. I should have. If I can find it, it's around here somewhere. It's just to illustrate what it looks like. This is not the actual thing. I would not want an actual thing on my property or around me. Yeah, just turn around and leave. I wouldn't advise it. I've seen them woven with stolen hair from victims. Yeah, that can be part of it too. Usually that's the death curse. Sometimes that can be part of a love spell as well. It just depends on what they're tying those knots in that string for. Each knot represents a hex, a spell, or something that they want done, whether it be good or bad. And usually it's bad. And I found three pennies face up lying perfectly at my front door. That doesn't sound good. Now, there are spells done with coins. Usually, though, if it's heads up, they're kind of wishing you good luck. Kind of. If it's tails down, tails up, heads down, it's usually bad. So maybe that's good that it wasn't. There are, put it this way, there are what we call ambiguous spells that can cause good or evil. Either way they go, supposedly. That sounds kind of like an ambiguous one to me. I don't know. I'll have to do a little research on that. But there are a lot of hexes and stuff situated with coins, and that's another thing is if you find coins in the graveyard, you never bring them home. Never pick them up and keep them. They are put on there usually for commemoration, especially on a veteran's grave. Okay, don't ever mess with them. How do you break the curse? Well, if you get a witch's ladder, a certain way you do it is you listen to this. You untie, in order to break the curse, you have to untie each knot in the witch's ladder. And each time you untie the knot, you must say a blessing or a prayer, usually the Lord's Prayer. And that supposedly breaks that spell when you untie that knot. That's the way you deal with it usually. Well, you hope it's good with the moon. Well, if you're worried about it, the best thing to do is to take those coins and form them into a pyramid, since there are three of them. Make a pyramid like of them and put some holy water on them or say a prayer over them and salt them, whatever. And that should take care that kind of should take care of the problem that they have with them, put it that way. When I find pennies, all I see is money from a piggy bank. Penny earned is a penny saved. Penny saved is a penny earned, as Ben Franklin said. Yep. Uh, where do you get the holy water? Well, if you're gonna watch my video coming up, I'm on. Let me talk about that again. I'm gonna be doing a video this weekend, and it's gonna be posted on Hunting the Shadows channel. Okay. And it's going to be step by step how to make holy water. You can do this at home, and it won't be hard for you to do. Okay, it's easy peasy, but it needs to be done, and you will all have your own holy water to do things with. Okay, and But don't forget, holy water, just like crosses, is just water without faith. You got to have faith behind it, okay? That's the main thing. This is a symbol, an act of your faith, all right? But I'm going to put together this video step by step how to do this. It won't take you long to do it, but there's certain procedure that you got to go through to get it done, okay? Hal Smith says, a dear friend of mine that's a pastor went out on a date with this girl. She said she'd introduced him to her friends later that night. She directed him up Long Isle Road and they stopped. Uh-oh. That doesn't sound good. I have created blessed water and brought to the Middle East. Yeah. Yeah, you can have your own holy water. You just got a certain little procedure that you need to do to sanctify it and to purify it and to give it the power that it needs. It's not hard, and like I said, it's about I think about 3 steps that you do. It's not that hard to do, and you'll have all the holy water that you need if you do it the right way. You're quite welcome. Wink at me. Aussie Sue, sorry I'm late. Better late than never, my dear. Good to have you here with us. I was just announcing that I'm going to be posting a video, step by step video on how to make your own holy water. That will be this weekend on Hunting the Shadows YouTube channel. And also, I'll be dropping the next episode of Scary Stories by Candlelight. We're going to be doing the monkey's paw. You don't want to miss this one. That's coming probably tomorrow night now. Okay. Does anyone use selenite in your holy water? You can do that. It's an added thing. Also, I'll be showing you how to add Florida water to it. Are any of you familiar with Florida water? Dennis, thank you, Freedom Over. As they were gathered around a big fire, when they started all dancing around it, he made about 2 rounds and he ran for the car. Figured out he was in a covenant of wishes. Oh, you never know. I've been there. The girl said, wouldn't the selenite dissolve? Yes, it probably would. I don't know. You could put that in there, but I'm sort of old school. Okay, I like the tried, true, and tested stuff. I only want to do what works, and that's just me. Okay, take it for what it's worth. That's just my outlook on it. Yes, I use Florida water, also known as Aqua de Florida. I love the smell. It reminds me of Peru. Okay. Well, that can be substituted and can be also added to holy water. Okay. And some people use it as a substitute for holy water, but it has to be blessed too. Okay. That is the main thing about all this. There has to be a blessing in there. Oh, thank you, Aussie Sue. I appreciate that, my dear. Thank you so much. That's very, very kind of you. Let me post that on there. That is very. It's a little bit slow tonight. Come on now, move. Move out. There we go. Okay. StreamYard's a little bit slow, my dear. But it's better than. It's getting a little bit faster there. There we go. All right. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that sticker. Thank you so much. But we will definitely be doing that this weekend. So be watching this channel for that, okay? And then for all you members out there, we've got some special stuff in store for you. So don't give up on me, okay? It's coming. Dragonfly says I use Florida water. Yep. Yeah, it comes in handy for a lot of things, but it smells good too. It reminds me of barber shops. They used to use that in the barber shops a lot. Can't always have that barber shop smell to me for it. I'm just reading your comments there. But I just gonna share that with you about the witches' ladders and stuff. So that's one thing you look for. Okay, like I said, if it's something very unusual looking, something that should not be there, just like those pennies you were talking about or whatever, pay particular attention to that. That's the way they do a lot of stuff, and you got to watch out for that. It's good to keep your eyes open, head on the swivel kind of a thing there. Absolutely. Also, I want to say, my good friend uh, Jane and Gerald Fountain have a store now. Yes, they got a store. Absolutely. And you need to patronize it. They've got some good stuff on there. They've got hats, cups. I like some of those cups they got on there. They've got all kinds of merchandise. So you might want to check it out. Okay. And I'll maybe like I get Shiro to post that thing for me. I will put it up here for everybody to see, but you might want to check it out. Yes, they've got a store. And it's time to go shopping. Okay. David Lester, hello, bud. Good to have you here, brother. Absolutely. I hope your lovely wife is doing great tonight. From Virginia, Shenandoah Valley of Virginia. That's a beautiful place, by the way. I've been seen around there too a little bit. I've been seen in a lot of places, but I ain't calling no certain ones out here. All right, thank you, ma'am. Here it is. That's the link to their store, so check it out there. That's the Midwest store. Okay, they got some great merchandise. Check it out. I might have my own store one day. You never know. I might have my own store one of these days. Then I can say I got a store. I don't take personal checks. Have you noticed that, by the way? Seriously, no place wants to take checks anymore. No person. They want the card or money. That's it. It is breathtaking. Yep. No checks, huh? Nope. Sorry, we don't take checks. Pour the blessing water into the ley lines where they intersect, and it travels into the earth. The dark force uses the ley lines to send their energy through the earth. Huh? Yeah, those ley lines are energy highways, you might say. Cash only, in God we trust. All others pay cash. Yep. Places won't even take cash anymore. Absolutely. That's what they're squeezing that out of you. That's what it's coming down to, unfortunately. Swingooey, all it says no personal checks. That's who I stole that from. Girl, I like to watch Svengooey's crazy guy. Svengooey. I like Elvira too, but that's another story. Elvira had always had a couple of good movies on there. Oh, you met Svengooey a couple of years ago. Ah, all right. Well, he does around Chicago. Is that right? That's his hangout, isn't it? They stopped teaching how to manage bank accounts and checks in school years ago. Oh, yeah. Well, I know we were taught that, how to fill out a check and all that stuff. Of course, that's the thing of the past now. Yeah, Elvira was hot. I agree with that. She was very hot. Turns out, though, Elvira only liked girls, not men. But that's another story. Oh, yeah, she lives outside Chicago in Berlin. Oh, yeah. Berlin! Okay, that's an inside joke. No checks and a big stick if you try that. Wimpy pay you next. Yeah. Yeah. You do know where they got, I don't know if people are familiar with this, but you do know where they got the motto for "In God We Trust" at, don't you? Something you never hear much of. Let me see if I can remember it. It's the very last stanza of the Star Spangled Banner. Then conquer we must, if our cause it be just, and this be our motto: In God is our trust, and the Star Spangled Banner shall forever wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave. That's the last stanza. You never hear that song, but that's where the motto comes from. In God is our trust. That's where they got the idea for that. The hamburger guy, Wimpy, he pays you back on Tuesdays. Yeah, I'll give me a hamburger today and I will pay you Tuesday. You remember Ghost Toast Saturday night? Oh, yeah, the Ghost Toast. Yeah. Well, my favorite was on Saturday afternoons. It came on actually when I was a kid. Shock Theater. It always had the old Universal horror movies on there. I used to spend a lot of Saturday afternoons watching that. And then, of course, there was one that came on Saturday night, late at night, The Inferno. And this guy's floating head on a fire field would come on and he'd say, "Welcome, come in, I've been waiting for you." That was a great one. The Inferno, the meeting place of the supernatural and the unknown. Yeah, her real name is Cassandra Peterson. Cassandra. I wish I had the memory that done it. I don't know. It all gets stuck up here, Yeah, martial arts Saturday afternoon. Oh yeah, the other martial arts. Yeah. That was past my bedtime. Jughead's big on hamburgers. Oh yeah, Jughead and Archie comics. I enjoyed Tales from the Dark Side. Oh yeah. Yeah, it was a great anthology. It has some great stories in that. I loved Tales from the Dark Side. Until next time, try to enjoy the light. And then share with us your first experience with the dark side. Well, I had several paranormal experiences when I was really young. Um, I've told about this before, but I'll run over it right quick. When I was about probably about 10 or 11 years old, I and a group of boys broke into a supposed haunted house. It was closed up. We had to break into it. Breaking and entering. Wasn't that nice? And we broke into it and we got in this old house and it had an upstairs. I remember well. And it was just like something out of a movie. Everything in this house was covered up in sheets and there was cobwebs everywhere and dust as thick as I don't know everywhere. It looked like something out of a horror movie. And there's about four of the boys with me, and they went on into the house somewhere else, another room. I wanted to go upstairs, so I started up the stairs in this house, and I put my hand on the banister and started up the stairs. And about maybe on the second or third stair, right in my ear, a voice, very loud, said, "Get out!" Just like that, get out. Well, of course, didn't have to tell me twice. Okay. So I immediately backed up and looked around. I thought it was some of these other boys playing a joke on me. They were not. They were further down in the house. I said, "Okay, it's time for me to leave." So I left. That was an interesting sort of a paranormal. There's a disembodied voice. That was one experience I had when I was a little kid. We lived in a haunted house. I grew up in a haunted house. There were all kinds of weird things that happened in that house. Um, I was probably about 12 years old at that time, but then, of course, I had my most startling experience when I was about 14 years old. which happened one day in church, and I actually saw three demons exit a man and go through a wall. And like I said, they looked like large soccer ball size balls of dirty light. That's what they look like. I've seen them manifest like that since then. That was my very jaw dropping experience when I saw that. It was showed me without a doubt that there truly was an unseen side to this universe. Lit a fire under me to understand what I saw. And that was sort of my gateway into the true aspects of paranormal investigation. Yeah, if you want to be the guest, we can do it. Yep. Fisher is found. And that's what. Wasn't the bad guy on Superman Justice League? Let's see, let me read what we in here. I lost it. Hold on a second. Wasn't the bad guy on the Superman Justice League cartoons comics called Dark Side or Dark Shield? I think his name was Dark Shield. I think something like that. Let's see. This you want to go on now? Just make it open. I was pushed down steps by shadow figures on a farmhouse in Mount Airy, White Mountain, seduced by a female ghost in the embassy, Washington, D.C. That sounds very interesting. What was your scariest case you done, Kyle says? Oh, that's hard to pick because I've had some very interesting ones, definitely. Uh, I've been in some very interesting situations. I think that time I snuck into an actual black mass was rather dangerous and kind of scary in that respect because they were getting ready to sacrifice someone or something, and I had to get out. That was in a bad situation. And like I talked about that time, I ran into the two Cherokee witches that held a knife to my throat. If somebody asks you why, tell me why I shouldn't cut your throat right now, you better come up with a good answer, which is what happened to me. Um, I've had some very interesting cases down through the years, so it's kind of hard to pick one out. I have actually been physically attacked by unseen spirits. I know how that is. Like I say, I had one try to kill me on the stairs, on a set of stairs one time. I mean, actually tried to kill me. So I've been in some of the interesting situations. Cosby it's not that far from Bunker Hill Road where the real exorcist was drawn from the real case. Yeah. That mass was on the Paris Mountain where yeah, it's, I'm trying to read. It's going by fast here. Hold on a minute. Staircases in the woods are bizarre phenomenon. Just saying, I would advise you not to go up staircases you find out in the woods. You might never come back again. I said this on Jessica's show the other day. I think a lot of people that disappear do so through portals. I think a lot of that's going on, more so than we realize. I want to tell you all something interesting tonight, and I'm going to share this with you. And like I say, I've never shared it with very few many people. I was actually at one time, they tried to recruit me for the CIA as a demonologist. They tried to recruit me. They wanted me to join them. I wouldn't do it, of course. I'm not a spook, okay? Uh, I actually had that happen. And let me say this about that right quick. And I may have to do a show on this one night. But there is an actual part of the CIA that utilizes werewolves, vampires, witches, etc., to do things that they want to do. Oh yeah, this was real stuff. This is nothing made up. This is the real deal. And that stuff is going on. I'm gonna have to talk about that more at length one day. I may have to do a complete show on it. Okay. Um, but it needs to be talked about. The CIA. I can't really tell you the real name of this program because this is deadly stuff. I don't like to talk too much about it because a lot of people have died because of these secrets. A lot of people have ended up missing and so called suicides. This is dangerous, dangerous stuff. So I have to be very careful, very, very, very careful how I approach this and how to tell you these things. But I will definitely going to put this out there. Okay. Be looking for it. I've not only been touched by a shadow thing. Let me tell you something about that. And I'm going to talk about those two movies here. I'm going to mention to you right quick. Work for CIA Director George Hickey. They wanted to recruit me, and I wouldn't do it. I don't work for the company. There are some bad stuff out there that want to lead you into some very hazardous situations. You have to be very, very careful about that. Had a dream one time, saw six dark hooded people carrying candles in possession, walked past the cottage. I ran in the woods. Next morning, went to a walk, found dead deer with my heart cut out. Oh, yeah, they do that. I've found that before myself. I've actually been in woods where they've had these ceremonies at and found dead and burnt deer. They do that. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It goes on a lot. Be very careful of some woods that you walk into, my friends. You might not never walk out again. Okay. Be very careful about that. I want to tell you tonight about two movies I highly recommend to you. Okay. I want to mention them right quick. And I want you to, if you get a chance to watch these, they are free. Okay. The first movie I'm going to talk about is They Don't Cast Shadows. That's the name of the movie. And it is talking about demons. Demons do not cast shadows, okay? Shadows cannot cast a shadow. Let me repeat that again. Shadows cannot cast a shadow, okay? If they do, they're not shadows. Demons are a little more than just shadow, okay? They don't cast a shadow. So if you're with someone or something and you're casting a shadow and they're not, you're probably not with something human. Okay, put it that way. But the name of this movie is that they don't cast shadows. Great Christian movie. You need to watch it. It's all about spiritual warfare. Great movie. You can get it on Prime for free. Watch it on Prime. They don't cast shadows. That's the name of it. Great Christian movie. You will love it. It's a very uplifting movie. Very good movie about spiritual warfare. So check it out. I highly, highly, highly recommend it. The next movie I want to recommend to you is about the end of the world. It is definitely a great movie to watch because it goes very close to what the biblical aspect of the end of days is. And the name of this movie, and you can watch it on Tubi for free, is The Remaining. Let me repeat that again for you. The Remaining, like the people that remain, The Remaining. Okay, check it out. It is a fantastic movie. It will enlighten you as to what it will be like in the days of the apocalypse. As we do. See. I put this movie on my watch list on Prime. Yeah, check it out. It is great. They don't cast shadows. Never watched it. Yep. You will look at. There's a satanic part of the woods I go to to avoid that area. Yeah, be very careful about that, girl or wrong. Absolutely, because if they catch you there, that's the last you'll probably be seen by anybody. They will get rid of you or put you into their slavery or whatever it is they want to do. You will not be a good ending for you. Okay, if they don't unalive you, they will make you wish you had been. They don't cast shadows. I put this, yes, I think they're a dangerous form of entrapment, so to speak. Yeah, they are. They don't cast shadows. It's on Amazon Prime Video. Yep. I'm getting by with it. It's about an hour and a half, so it's not real long, but it's a great movie. Check it out. It's got a good story to it, and it's some pretty good actors. Yeah, I'm getting by with it. Yeah, Crystal, check it out. You will love it. And show it, Crystal Phillip. Check it out. They don't cast shadows, and the remaining, both of those are 90-minute scoring movies. They're very uplifting movies. Check them out on Tubi. The remaining is on Tubi. Yes, yes, ma'am. Thank you. Let me put that up for everybody there. Uh, Get that movie on your watch list. Okay, good. Okay, that's the They Don't Cast Shadows on Prime. And on Tubi, the remaining. There you go. Okay, that kind of gets you to we're coming from on that. It looks good. Let's see. So, are there any electrical charges, vibrations you feel when you're being attacked? Sometimes you will definitely feel that. I have been attacked in many different ways. These things can attack you spiritually, mentally, physically, and emotionally. You will definitely feel some weird vibrations during some of these attacks. You will feel a definite reaction to it. It can be a numbness. It can be a sort of electrifying type of a little bit of a charge like thing to it, or it can be vibrational or frequency type thing. These things can even attack your hearing. They can attack your hearing, they can attack your sight, your sense of smell and taste. They can attack you physically. Any way they can get to you physically, that can happen. You will get a definite reaction physical wise, but they can also attack you, don't forget, spiritually, mentally, and emotionally. So you've got to be very careful what's going on there. The best thing to do of all is not to get attacked to begin with. You know what I'm saying? Don't put yourself in that position if you can help it. But sometimes we're innocent victims of these things, you know. That will be my Saturday night. Okay, there you go. Check them out. That'll be Saturday night movie night. I can tell you what it feels like to be possessed. Yeah, it is very bad feeling. Okay, I have actually never been possessed, but I have seen people possessed. It's and the only way I can describe it, the best way to describe it, as if you're in your car, but you're in the back seat. Somebody else is driving. That's your body. Okay, not the car I'm talking about. You're in the back seat, way in the back seat, and somebody else is driving. That's the way you can look at it. That's the way it goes with possession. Is it is? I call it a spiritual overthrow. They're trying to overthrow you spiritually, completely invade you and take over completely. They don't cast shadows on TV. There we go. I'll put that up. I would highly recommend both of these movies that you watch these. Please, you will be glad you did. Check them out, and it's very uplifting. There's nothing scary. It's not a little scary, but I'm saying it's not a horror movie thing here. Okay, these are Christian movies made by Christian people for a Christian purpose. You need to check them out. It's definitely worth your while. And the interesting thing about the remaining, it says very, very close to the biblical thing. It even has those 100-pound, and I say this again, 100-pound hailstones. The trumpets are heard, everything. You need to watch it. The remaining. It's what happens to everybody after the rapture. Okay. Um, By the way, like in some other movies, people that are raptured do not just leave their clothes behind on this movie. Okay, just check it out. I won't tell you anymore. I don't want to mess it up for you. It is very, very interesting to watch. And I think very close to what will actually happen. Yeah, they don't cast shadows on YouTube. Now be careful how you look for that. You got to have it exactly. They don't cast shadows. Okay, you got to be exact on that because it's a very exact title. Anything that is of a supernatural nature, my friends, will not cast a shadow. They say vampires do not, real supernatural dead, undead vampires do not cast shadows. They say werewolves in certain instances do not cast shadows. Anything that is of a supernatural nature will not usually cast a shadow. It just depends on what you're dealing with, though, sometimes. But I have actually seen spiritual entities that definitely do not have a reflection, and you can't pick them up on camera, and you can't see any shadows that they create. I mean, they're not substantial in that respect. Sometimes what can be seen by the human eye cannot be seen by the camera, and sometimes that's vice versa. The camera can see things that the human eye can't. That's just the way that works out sometimes. My stream keeps randomly rewinding, huh? That's strange. Vampires don't have a reflection in the mirror either, right? Supposedly not, because they are spiritual beings. They're not. They're more spiritual than they are flesh. They're not. Reanimate dead flesh. Okay, but they're, like I said before, there are different types of vampires. I'm talking about the real vampires and not human vampires. Okay, actual vampires. There are several types of them. You have reanimated corpses. You have spiritual vampires. They are nothing but spirit. They definitely do not cast a reflection. Undead vampires that are reanimated corpses would probably cast a reflection. Okay. But the reason that reflection thing got started is many, many years ago, mirrors were made with real silver backings. And supposedly that's why there was no reflection at all from vampires on account of the silver, see, the pure metal would not show their reflection. Uh, Modern day mirrors are not made like that. Okay, they're made, a lot of them made with mercury and other things now. They're not made with true silver. A true silver mirror would probably not have the image of a vampire in it. But if you're dealing with a spiritual vampire, and I've run into vampire spirits, okay, and they're just as bad as the flesh and blood dead vampires, okay, um, they will definitely not have a reflection or a shadow of any kind. But a reanimated corpse, demonic reanimated dead corpses, would probably have one. Um, because they're using a dead body. They're the host of a dead body. Okay, put it that way. They're hosting a dead body. Um, so you've got different types of vampires on that to go with. Why can ghosts be seen in mirrors? Supposedly, you can catch them because you can, if you experiment with this, okay, you can see a shadow in a mirror. Okay, if you can see a shadow, you can see a ghost because they're basically the same thing. You understand what I'm saying? But sometimes I think during the manifestation process, the transformative process, going from one reality to another, in other words, going from unseen into the seen, they kind of mortify themselves. You can actually catch an image of them. That's when you see a ghost. I have seen a full bodied apparition, okay? It looked as real as you are. It looked like a real person, although it was not. It was an apparition. It looked real. That's how solid it looked. But it was transforming into that, I think. It was moving from one reality to another and doing that. That's how you shapeshift, too, by the way. And I want to say something about shapeshifters. I hear skinwalker, 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 skinwalker all the time. Let me say one thing about that, okay? A skinwalker is nothing but a witch changing into something. Witches do that all the time. Whatever name you want to call them, witches, skinwalkers, werewolves do the same thing. These are shapeshifters, but they're witches most of the time. These are witches. They're doing this with satanic power. That's what this is all about. Whatever name you want to call them, skinwalkers or whatever. Skinwalker is a Native American thing for a witch, okay? But there are other names for it too. The Diablero, the Bruja or Brujo. The Brujo is one. You've got different names here, okay? But they're all the same thing. They're witches. That's what they basically are. Bearded dragons never did, but then again, they were pretty chill. Then why can ghosts do you think the lizards will inhabit a clone to walk among us? Oh, you talking about the reptilians? Reptilians, I think, are basically fallen angels. Okay, and they're making clones, they're making robots, androids. They're doing all these things. So like I just said earlier, look at the CIA. It's behind a lot of this supernatural stuff, believe it or not. Okay, and like I said, this is going to be a story for another time. I'm not going to get into it tonight, but there is some freaky, freaky, freaky stuff going on in the shadows of this world. And it's all because of fallen angels, reptilians, whatever name you want to call them. It's all because of them. And they're into everything, folks. They're into everything. Every rotten, low down, evil thing, scheme you can think of. They're behind it. They're the instigators of it. They're up to something all the time. And it's never good. Never anything good. The true form of these fallen angels, let me say this again for you, okay? The true form of these fallen angels, they look like a doggone two-legged snakes walking around, okay? They're reptilian. They look like snakes. Have you ever asked yourself this question? Of all the animals on this planet, why in the Garden of Eden did Satan appear as a serpent? Have you ever asked yourself that? Why? The Bible says something very interesting about that. It says, amongst all the animals, the most subtle of these animals in the field was the serpent. Subtle means smart here, folks. Okay, tricky, sneaky, trickster type thing, okay? That's what it's talking about here. That's the serpent. That's why they look like that. And what did that prophecy come about? You shall bruise his head, and he will bruise your heel. There's going to be a hatred, an enemy there between mankind and reptilians, the fallen angels, the fallen ones. That's what their true form is now. They look like snakes, okay? Because that's what they are. Be careful of it's snake season out there, folks. Listen to me close. I won't say this again. Be careful. Be very, very careful. It's always snake season. And the worst snakes that you'll ever encounter are the kind walking around on two legs. Okay? The movie They Live is a good representation. They are the black and white entities that have shown themselves on TV. Oh yeah, that's one of my favorite movies though, by the way. They Live. Absolutely. Absolutely. It tells you a lot about what's they're hiding in plain sight. What is the best way to hide anything? Have you ever asked yourself that question? Right in plain sight, amongst everything. That's the best place to hide something. Okay, and that's what these things are doing. They're walking around among you out there. Okay, and there are some human beings that used to be human. They're not human anymore because they lost their souls. They don't have souls anymore. That's what makes you human. I talked about this on the last show. If you do not have a soul, I got bad news for you. You are no longer human. You've lost your humanity. You've lost your soul. You're doomed. That's it. You have gone over completely to the darkness. That's what they want. That's what their goal is, to get you in that situation. I have been possessed, yes. Well, I'm glad you are no longer possessed, my friend. It's a bad situation to be in, to have your spirit overthrown by these dark forces. That's what they want. They want to take you over. They want to use you as a tool. They think you are lower than the dirt under a doormat. That's the way they want to treat you and get you. Okay, that's what they're all about spiritually. Be amongst people that is a great way to hide. Yep. Oh yeah. Yeah. Hide in plain sight. That's the way to do it. Smart. Oh, it's smart. It's sneaky, but it's smart when you think about it. And your enemy, the enemies of the fallen ones, they're not stupid. They're a whole lot smarter than you and I ever will be, because they're incredibly older than you and I. They are the Watchers. And what did I say their first names was? The Watchers. They watch and learn everything. Also, their first names, they were called the Morning Stars. That's how beautiful they were. Beautiful and perfect and lovely and holy. But they lost that. Now they are corrupt, filthy, evil, snaky things. They're awful. Believe me, I have seen what they look like, and I know what they look like. I've seen their true form. And believe me, you don't want to go there. You don't want to see it. It would haunt you the rest of your days. It is a terrible thing of what they have become. And we don't want to be that. We don't want to be like that. We don't want to become like that, because they are a reflection of what they truly are now. They can never get. That's why they don't want to look at themselves in mirrors. They don't like to deal with mirrors. They don't want to see themselves for what they truly are now. Horrible beyond comprehension. Put it that way. As a writer, I can't even find the words to tell you that. It is horrible to think about. We have souls within. They don't. They've lost their souls. They once had souls. Angels have souls. God doesn't create anything without a soul like that, a living thing. Okay. They once had souls, but they have completely lost them. They've lost their angelic quality. They have become terrible things now. And they're evil, hateful, spiteful, dangerous things, because their hatred is all consuming of you. They hate you above all things. I think they even hate us more than God, although they hate God a whole lot. That's good old saying. Keep your friends close and your enemies closer. Absolutely. That's the way that works. Thank you there, Cosmic Joe. I appreciate that. Thank you so much for that sticker, sir. Absolutely. But that's what's going on. We've got to understand that's what the real deal is in this world. Okay. Sure, we've been invaded. Aliens have invaded this planet. They invaded this planet a long time ago. There were alien angels, okay? If you want to call them that. Alien angels, okay? That's the way I want to put it, so that you understand what I'm talking about here. Okay, they invaded this planet long ago. They formed a beachhead here on planet Earth, and for one purpose and one purpose only: to control us, to enslave us, and then destroy us. That's what it's all about. Whether you want to call them the Anunnaki, or whether you want to call whatever name you want to call them, that's what they are. They're the fallen ones. They are the true fallen. They're called. They lost the war and ended up down here with us. They invaded this planet. We've been invaded by aliens, folks. But it ain't what Hollywood would tell you. It's not some Alpha Centauri. They fell from the heavenly realm. You know where the heavenly realm is? Where this battle was fought? In another dimension. Don't you understand that? They are interdimensional beings. Angels are interdimensional spiritual beings. They're not like you and I. They're non human. We belong here. God made us for the earth, He made us from the earth. We are the earth, my friends. You and I. We are of the earth. This is where we belong. This is our home. We need to fight for it because these forces are stealing it and taking it away from us. God wants us to fight for this planet. It belongs to us. He gave it to us. He doesn't want anybody to steal it from us. So we got to remember that's the big picture we're looking at here. Okay? That is the big picture of what's really going on here. We don't want to lose sight of that because it's the truth. And remember what the truth will do for you. Actually, let's see, there is a question attached to the sticker. Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. How can you tell if you have lost your soul? Oh, you'll know it because you will be completely consumed by the darkness. Okay. You will be completely consumed by the darkness. You'll go over to it. You'll be completely corrupted by it. That's what it's all about. Corruption, spiritual corruption. When spiritual corruption sets in, you won't have any feeling for anything anymore. You won't care about anything. You are just dead. You understand? You are dead spiritually. You're dead mentally, physically, and emotionally. That's the way this works. I hate hitting those four things, but that's what makes you you. That makes you a living soul. And if you have lost your soul, you're not living anymore. You're no longer a human. You'll know it. You'll know it. But yet, in some ways, you won't know it. You really won't know how dire of a situation you're in. You won't realize it because you're that blinded spiritually. See, that's the thing about it. You're that blinded spiritually that you won't truly realize what's happened to you. That's the dangerous aspects of this. Cosmic just about I may have lost my soul. I can't tell if I did or not. You don't like to know, but if you're worried about it, then you haven't. Okay, let me repeat that again for you. If you're worried about losing your soul, then you still have it. It's when you don't worry about losing your soul that you may have lost it. You understand where I'm getting at? Remember what I said before. If evil is not bothering you, if evil doesn't bother you, attack you, oppress you, and yes, even possess you sometimes, if it doesn't do that, then it's already got you. That's a distinct indicator there. Psalm 82 comes to mind. Yep. That's why the outsiders want us in this planet because we have the souls they can't have. Absolutely. They lost their souls. They don't want us to have one. That's just the way it goes. It's like terrorists, okay? They don't care who they blow up little children, innocent women, children, whatever the situation. They don't care. They don't care, okay? That's what makes them terrorists, okay? Because they don't care how much terror they spread, or how much terror they cause, and they don't care how they do it. So there's no holds barred on them. That's the way they operate. And I have seen what they have done. It's horrible stuff that they do. They even put nails and shrapnel in their bombs to kill as many people as possible. Okay? That's what terrorism is all about. And these things are even worse than that, my friends. That's the way they deal with it. There's a very interesting thing happened in the Bible, and I want you to listen very close to what I'm about to tell you. And I always call it the case of the crooked hand. A man came to Jesus with a crooked hand. He never had been able to use his hand. It was all gnarled up since the day he was born. And Jesus healed his hand. Well, he happened to heal his hand on the Sabbath day. And the Pharisees were standing around and they said, "Oh, wait a minute. You healed that man on the Sabbath day. Therefore, you healed that man by the power of Beelzebub." Beelzebub's the chief demon, okay? And Jesus said, "Wait a minute." He said something very interesting there. He said, "Wait a minute, okay? Let me tell you something. All sin can be forgiven except one. One sin. Have you ever thought about this, folks? There is one sin that you cannot get forgiven for, and that is blasphemy of the Holy Spirit. Now, what is that? Jesus said it very simple in that same context. You see good for evil and evil for good. You take the bitter for sweet, and the sweet is bitter. What did he say here? You've changed. You went over completely into the darkness. Once you've gone over completely into the darkness, you will see that evil is good and good is evil. That's the way you're going to look at stuff. And that's the way these people look at stuff. Just like those terrorists. They think they're doing good and they're going to get to go to heaven by many innocent people they kill. How stupid that is. That is a sin you can't forgiven for. Why can't you get forgiven for the sin? Because you'll never ask for forgiveness. Because you think you're right. And everything you do is okay. That's the dangerous part of what happens when you lose your soul. And that's what we got to watch out for. For what shall it profit a man if he's to gain the whole world and lose his own soul? Very good, Crystal. Yes, I have been to many heavy metal concerts where they are devil horns everywhere. Never fully trust anyone who uses the devil horns a lot. Oh yeah, they can be used for different purposes. By the way, you can do this as sort of a ward against the evil eye, but that's also the devil horns. Okay, it depends on which way you're pointing them. If you're pointing them this way, it's supposed to be against the evil eye. If you point them this way, that's supposed to be for the devil. A lot of symbolism in that. Muhammad or Jesus? I'll go with Jesus, thank you. Muhammad didn't die for nobody. Thank you, Kyle. But that's true. I mean, that's what happens when you lose your soul. You lose your whole perspective on things. That's the name of this show, by the way. Okay. Paranormal point of view. It depends on what your point of view is. And if you've got that kind of point of view, there's something badly wrong spiritual with you. If you think evil is good and good is evil, you done lost it, brother. That's it. You better stop and say, "Whoa, wait a minute here." Because you have committed the unpardonable sin. That means that's the one sin is that you will never ask forgiveness. How can you be forgiven if you never ask to be forgiven? You can't. God gives you a warning in the Bible. Do not leave this world. He said, don't even go to bed without forgiving people. Because if you don't forgive, you can't be forgiven. Don't forget that. I had a cousin one time that had to forgive the man that murdered her son. She had to forgive him because that's what she wanted to do. But she couldn't forget it now. But she had to forgive him because she did not want to leave this world holding that against somebody. Think about that, murdering your son now, okay? But she was able to, and you better understand that's what you got to do. You cannot leave this world, my friends, without forgiving everybody for what's been done to you. Then you can be forgiven. You can be forgiven, definitely. Okay, but you got to ask to be forgiven. That's the way that works. Taylor Swift don't use devil horns. She uses it through beads and movement and images. Yeah. Well, a lot of these things you see happening on the stage today, my friends, are rituals. Even if you're just watching it, you don't have to participate in it. You don't have to flash the devil horns or do whatever it is they're doing. Just watching it, you are participating in the rituals. Be very careful. Okay? Even your presence is being used by the rituals because that's how these rituals gain power to do the things they want to do. The more people there that are watching it, participating, whether they know it or not, are adding to the cone of power that they're trying to raise and get it to rise as high as possible. That's what rituals are all about. Be very, very careful about that. Don't participate in it. Even watching it is not good. That's tough, yeah. You're feeding energy into that crap. Absolutely, girl. You're right. You're feeding, you're giving it the energy, the acknowledgement, the power that it wants. You're feeding the beast. What did I say on Jessica's show the other day? Don't feed the beast. Don't feed it. It makes it only stronger. Will not ever watch these like the Paris Olympics. Yeah. Don't participate in that stuff. Don't let it get in your mind. Look, let me say, look at this. Look at these two things right here. Okay, my friends. They're not only the windows to the soul, they're gateways to the soul. Okay? So are these. Be careful what you let in the gates. Guard the gates well. Don't let things in those gates. They're going to harm you. I'm just warning you, okay? One friend to another. I'm warning you. Watch those gates, guard them well, okay? Because what goes into you, just like your food, is what makes you you, okay? Don't let in too much darkness. Let in the light, the positive. Keep out the dark and the negative. What did I say? You guard against the darkness. Stand against the darkness. Embrace the light. That's what you got to do. Hey, Bigfoot, Michigan Rob, I was talking about you earlier today, sir. We're talking about your being on the show. I think it's next week. Got your book ready, boy. We're going to have an interesting talk about your book here. I got it right here with us. I'm looking forward to it, brother. Okay. All right. Yeah, I want to bring okay, I want to bring Fisher's that's what. Let's see. Hey, second book. Yeah, I've been waiting for the second book to come out. I was, you know me, I'm all about reading case histories. I love case histories. I've read thousands of them over the years. That's what I like. You know, you get a lot of. Yeah, I'll tell you what I like about that, Rob. To me, and we'll talk about this. You know, is looking at these things through other people's perspective. That's the interesting thing. You know. Absolutely. But anyway, we got to be careful about, about letting the stuff in us. You know, if we get too much darkness in us, that's not a good thing. We got to watch that. Freedom Lover says, Dennis, where was your greatest battle with the dark side? Well, one of them was on that staircase when that spirit attacked me physically. That was a physical battle. I have had spiritual battles that have been very interesting. I've even been attacked in my dream by some of these things. It's kind of hard to pin one down. There's some of the darkest cases I've had have been witchcraft. Some of them have been instigated by witchcraft. Some of them by demonic stuff. Of course, it's all demonic if you want to look at the root cause of a lot of stuff like that. But there's been some very interesting ones over the years. I've had several people approach me and say, "Hey, Dennis, you need to write a book about a lot of your experiences." And I say, "But where do I start?" There's been so many of them. So many, like I said earlier about the CIA wanting to recruit me because I was a demonologist. Uh, I've had a lot of interesting things over the years. Where should I begin? Is I guess at the beginning. Uh, but I'm thinking about it. Maybe this book needs to get written before I die. Anyway, and leave a little bit of a record behind of some of this weird stuff that has happened to me. This movie's wild. Is there wilder on the family? Wow, no. Meaning the fiercest. Oh yeah, there have been some pretty bad stuff. I'll tell you what. There was one time. Let me see how I can relate this. There was one time when I actually ran into a network of demons. That's kind of hard to explain, but there was a network of them. Okay, they were actually working together, and they knew me. They knew me. They knew it was me. I went from location A to location B, and the ones at location A knew me at location B and were waiting on me. That's as far as I can go with that right now. It's a long story. I won't get into it tonight, but it was sort of a network thing, okay? And that kind of it kind of got me because I'd never had that happen before. Every time you have a lot of things like this go down the line, it's usually things that you've never run into before. It's always fresh in many ways. That's what's interesting about this whole field of the paranormal. It never gets old, my friends, and you always learn something new every time you encounter these things. That would be a great book, Dennis used to write. It would be a wild book, Shiro. I don't know if I could long enough to write that. It would have to be probably 2 or 3 volumes to get it out. But Dennis's greatest hits, maybe that would. I don't know. I might have to just hit the great hits and leave the little stuff out. I'm watching the Shadow movie. Oh, okay, John, good. And yeah, her parents were downright mean and ugly, weren't they? Poor girl. I said, she's a very nice girl. I won't say anymore. I don't want to ruin it for everybody here. But it's been a very interesting journey, definitely, for me. And somebody asked me another question the other day. Said, Dennis, if you knew back all those years ago what you were walking into, what you were about to get into, if you knew then what was going on, would you have went ahead and done it anyway? I said, probably, yeah. I probably, that's just how stubborn I am. Okay. I probably would have done it anyway. But I would have probably had some second thoughts, definitely. But I don't have any regrets in that respect. Okay. Although, and let me say this tonight, and I'm not just being a drama queen here. Okay. There are some things I would like to unknow, if you know what I mean. There are some things I would like to forget, but I can't. Some things I found out, some things I know that I would like to unknow. I might be better for not knowing them. I was with elite security out of Honolulu. I ran into a demon working with human trafficking. Went to 5 different countries dealing with it. Oh, they're deep into that stuff. Okay, that's part of the slavery thing. Don't ever forget this. The demonic is all about slavery, whatever kind it may be, physical, mental, emotional, or spiritual slavery. Whatever it is, they're all about slavery. God, on the other hand, is about freedom, real true freedom. Freedom from sin, freedom from anger and hatred, freedom from all the evil things in this world. That's what God's about, okay? It's just the opposite. We got to always keep that in mind and in our sight of what's really the real deal is, you know? Thank you, Cal. I'm glad I did too in many ways. Some ways, sometimes I wonder, you know? Sometimes I'm going to tell you what, I get kind of depressed and I think about it and I kind of get down. I say, sometimes I have to stop walking on the edge here and I have to say, was the journey really worth it all? You know, I do have those feelings sometimes. And I get depressed just like anybody else. Okay. Believe me, the darkness that I've had to deal with takes a toll on you. I hate the demonic so much. I could never explain to you how much I hate it. It is repulsive to me. It is just something like something a bad taste in your mouth. You can't spit it out. You know what I mean? Uh, I've dealt with this along. I like the angelic, the good things, the light. I love the light so much better than the darkness. There's no attraction of the darkness to me. I'm not attracted by it. I don't want it. It repels me. It repulses me. Um, that's just the way it goes. But it takes its toll on you. It really does in many different ways, not just physically, but in other ways as well. It is the price you pay for walking the edge. That's the way it goes. It's like the movie Fallen Entities move from person to person. Yeah, yeah. Philip makes me wonder if there is demonic influence causing these schools. And oh, there's a lot of that behind it. Like I said, a lot of these people who have lost their souls to the darkness, they wake up sometimes and say, "Why did I do that?" I have actually heard people say, "Okay, I know one time there was a case we had. That's when I was a police officer. Okay, well, this guy beat this other guy up, and I asked him. I said, "Why'd you do that? Why'd I mean, he beat him up bad. He broke the man's nose. I mean, he broke his jaw. He beat this man up bad, severely. I asked him, I said, why did you do that? He said, I don't know why I done that. I really don't know why I done that. And he really didn't. I mean, I could tell he was being honest about it. I don't know why I done it. And maybe it wasn't him. Maybe he had some help. Or if you want to call it help, there was somebody instigating some of that. There is a human evil in this world. Oh, yeah. If there was nothing but human evil in this world, that would be bad enough. More than bad enough. But there's something else pushing a lot of this human evil. It's behind it, it's driving it. It's just like you being pushed over the edge. That's what they're doing. They're pushing these people over the edge, getting them to do the things they want to do. It's a concerted effort. It is a plan, my friends, and the plan is being operated on daily. That's the way it goes. Open your minds and you can see it. Open your eyes. The discernment will give you that. You will see spiritually what's truly going on in this world. Just like these two movies I'm talking about. You will see what's going on spiritually in these movies. You can see that in this world around you. And it's not a movie, my friends. It's the real deal. It's the real thing going on. Sometimes you get that blind rage, lose your soul, get played like a game by high ranked demons. Yep. They play you, they use you. The tool is the fool, and the fool is the tool. That's their motto, okay? That's the way they look at it. Most of these users have been in transition, male to female. Well, that's got a lot behind it too, okay? And what did I say the other night about all this stuff? 50 years ago, if you look in psychiatric books, this was a mental illness, my friends. Now it's being accepted as normal. What's wrong with that picture? In the beginning, God made male and female. Male and female made he them. Anything else, my friends, is man made. Okay. You ever watch Mr. Hart? I've watched him for a while. You talked to him. Mr. Hart. Mr. Hart. Absolutely, Cal. Yep. But anyway, sometimes I feel like Elijah, just a voice crying in the wilderness. Ain't nobody listening. Why am I even saying it? I do have to wonder about that because, from time to time I tell people these things and 5 minutes later they forget it. It's kind of redundant, isn't it? Like I'm a broken record playing over and over and over and over again. I know it must get on people's nerves. I'm sorry. I apologize for that. Okay. If I tend to repeat myself, just remember I'm an old man. I get to do that. It's part of my prerogatives. Okay. I don't know, Cal. I don't know about making a difference. Sometimes I wonder about that. I really do. I don't know. Yeah. But like I say, I sometimes wonder if the journey has been worth it. No apology necessary. Thank you. But, something. Here's the thing about it, okay? I'm going to say this in closing tonight, okay? And it's about time we've been at this going on almost 2 hours now. Okay, but let me say this, okay? If I saw you, my friends, walking blindfolded to 100-foot cliff about to go over, what kind of a person would I be if I didn't say, hey, stop? Don't do that. Stop where you're at. What kind of person would I be if I didn't do that? I got to do it. I'm sorry. I got to do it. I just can't let you go over that cliff. That way, I'll do what I can to stop you from going over that cliff. I'm sorry. That's just me. And if it offends anybody, I'm sorry. I apologize for that right now. But as John Wayne used to say, never apologize is a sign of weakness. But I mean, that's just me. That's the way it goes. I got to say something. That's just the way that goes. Bigfoot Rob says, I know that sometimes repeating things is well worth it. People tend to forget. That's very true, Bob. Rob, it definitely is. People use not to cross, see exactly where you see you're not alone. Well, thank you, Catherine. Well, you have to wonder about it. You have to wonder if you're making inroads sometimes. Hello, Roger, welcome aboard, sir. You're late. You may have to go back and watch it from the beginning. Thank goodness for being the voice and making a difference. Well, Kyle, I try, but we all need to do that, though. Not just me. I'm not putting any laurels on my head here or putting a hero medal on my chest, okay? We all need to do that. That's just being human. I repeat often as long lives. Got to plant the seeds. Yeah, seeds don't grow if they don't get planted. That's the way that goes. Well, it's been an interesting evening, my friends. Any more questions before we close it out here? I won't. Like I said, I don't want to hear no crickets out there. Now, you got any more questions? Anything at all you want to ask? Now's your shot at it. Okay. That's my nephew Roger Carroll, by the way. Hello, Roger, and welcome aboard, sir. Thank you, Kyle. I appreciate that. We're all in the same boat, believe it or not. Yeah, we all need to paddle. together, okay? We'll need to paddle again. You never paddle against the other guy. We all got to paddle together. It's got to be the rhythm, okay? That's the way it goes. Then we can get somewhere. They show tonight. Thank you. And remember now, you check those movies out, okay? They don't cast shadows and the remaining. Check them out this weekend if you get a chance. And be looking for the next episode of Scary Stories by Candlelight. I'll be dropping that tomorrow night. And also, I will be doing that step by step video on how to make your own holy water. Okay. The recipe for holy water. That's coming up. So be watching for that. All of this coming up on Hunting the Shadows YouTube podcast channel. Okay. So be watching and be aware and keep your head on a swivel out there, folks. Okay. Because it's getting kind of dangerous. All right. And I will see you all here. Nothing happens. Lord willing, and the creeks don't rise. Monday night at 9 o'clock with my good friend Gerald Fountain. We will be traveling down the road less traveled. Okay, and I want to thank you all for being here on Paranormal Point of View tonight and taking the highway to high strangeness with me. And we'll look forward to next week and see what we'll get into then. And I appreciate you all really being here tonight. It means a lot. And all your stickers and support. Tremendous. Okay, tremendous. I cannot find the words to tell you how much I thank you for your support. It means the world to me. You know that. It means a lot to me. That's what keeps me going. Okay. It's keeping me going. Okay. And I appreciate all that you do. Absolutely. And like I say, this is not just my podcast. This is your podcast too. So don't ever forget that. And if any of you ever want to come on here and talk, got a story you want to tell, come see me. I'm sitting right here. All you got to do is say the word. Okay. And we'll get you on here. We'll put you on. And I appreciate all that you do. And I thank you so very much for your time. And remember, my friends, okay, what I always say, non tambo mala. What does that mean? Fear no evil. Okay? All right. And until we get together again, Godspeed.